this time, coming from Nightmare Feelings. Check out Nightmare Feelings. These are disturbing camping encounters caught on camera. Like I always say, don't go camping in the woods alone. Don't go backpacking in the woods alone. Always go with something or someone. What I mean by something is like a pew-pew or something.
On 7th May 2019, a YouTuber named It's Omega and his dog Max take on a chilling backpacking adventure inside New Zealand's longest abandoned train tunnel. Spanning 1.4 kilometers, the tunnel is steeped in history, originally built over 15 months but left incomplete due to financial constraints. The tunnel ceased operation in 1955 and reopened in 2016 as a site for hikers and cyclists. With its isolation, dark past, and eerie atmosphere, the tunnel serves as the backdrop for Omega's daring challenge to camp overnight within its shadowy confines and document the experience. What begins as a test of endurance soon devolves into a harrowing series of unexplained events. Omega explains the premise of his challenge as he embarks on the journey with Max.
Check it out,
He parks his car in a safe location and begins a 10 to 15 minute hike through a forested path to the tunnel entrance. Despite the picturesque surroundings, the sense of isolation is already palpable. Omega narrates his thoughts, admitting to a mix of excitement and apprehension about spending the night in such an ominous location. When he reaches the entrance, the vast gaping mouth of the Spooner's tunnel looms before him. Omega marvels at its sheer size and the darkness stretching endlessly inside.
The nerves are really starting to kick in now. What? I want to be spending a night in this thing. Oh no.
Wouldn't do it, buddy.
I don't know about this guy.
Somebody else, but
What the frick?
He describes the unsettling feeling of standing at the threshold of such an enormous...
Tell me what you think. Would you spend the night in that? Or would you go with someone else?
...and structure. With determination, Omega ventures into the tunnel, his flashlight illuminating the damp, glistening walls and the endless tracks of gravel beneath his feet. The silence is overwhelming, broken only by the occasional echo of his own footsteps and Max's soft panting. Omega selects a spot within the tunnel to set up his camping gear. He lays out his sleeping setup and organizes his belongings. Despite the quiet, Omega can't shake an unexplainable sense of being watched.
It is totally dark now. The sun's gone right down. There's no more light left. If I turn my light off, now this is the freaky thing. When I turn this light off, it is totally pitch black and silent. You ready? Here we go. Wow.
To pass the time, Omega prepares a simple meal using canned food, including butter chicken and an all-day breakfast pack.
There you go.
However, his unease begins to creep in as he eats. Omega mentions hearing faint, indistinct noises echoing from deeper within the tunnel. Initially dismissing them as natural sounds or tricks of the mind, he acknowledges that the stillness of the tunnel is playing with his senses. As the hours drag on, Omega's discomfort intensifies. He describes the experience of being enveloped in darkness, with the tunnel's endless expanse amplifying every sound. Max, typically calm and curious, begins to behave anxiously, staying close to Omega and reacting to unseen stimuli. Omega frequently scans the tunnel with his flashlight, searching for the source of the noises. At one point, he hears what sounds like faint whispers or the distant echo of movement, but he is unable to pinpoint where they...
The dogs always know. I don't know if I shared this before, but I was camping on the coast somewhere, and me and my wife were in a tent, and the zipper was cracked about that much, and my husky Malamute pushed his face into it until it opened up, and he ran out and chased somebody off. So they know. And man, always bring your dog with you.
Coming from. His apprehension grows as he realizes that the tunnel's acoustics make it nearly impossible to determine the direction or origin of the sounds. The combination of auditory hallucinations, fatigue, and isolation begins to take a psychological toll on him. At around 2 a.m., unable to contain his unease or endure the boredom, Omega decides to explore deeper into the tunnel. With Max by his side and a flashlight in hand, he ventures further into the darkness. The tunnel stretches endlessly in both directions, its walls slick with moisture. The monotony of the tunnel amplifies the tension, with every step echoing loudly against the stone walls. Omega frequently stops to listen, his senses heightened as he scans the area for any signs of movement. Despite his fears, the exploration initially yields nothing out of the ordinary. Omega eventually decides to return to his campsite, but the tension remains as the sense of isolation deepens. As Omega settles back into his campsite, the tunnel's oppressive silence is suddenly interrupted by the sound of a toy playing a haunting melody.
I don't know if you guys can hear this on the camera, but there's something. What is that? What the?
Dude, that's just creepy.
Hello?
The unexpected noise sends chills down his spine as he scrambles to locate its source. The toy's eerie tune echoes through the tunnel, its cheerful sound starkly contrasting the ominous atmosphere. Omega's anxiety spikes as he calls out to whatever he thinks is lurking around there. His flashlight beams wildly across the tunnel, but no one responds. The tension escalates as Omega hears more unexplained noises, including faint footsteps and whispers. He repeatedly calls out, asking if anyone is there, but receives no reply. The noises seem to grow closer, heightening his sense of vulnerability. After some time, this happens.
Hello? Is there somebody here? That's just creepy as... What the hell? Is anyone here? What is that? Oh!
What the fuck? Oh.
Max! Max! Get back on me!
No way.
A person-like figure watching him closely. Realizing the potential danger, Omega decides to cut his challenge short. He quickly runs towards his campsite and gathers his belongings, urging Max to stay close.
What would you have done? I think I would have kept the flashlight on his face. Like, who are you?
They prepare to leave the tunnel. The unexplained phenomena and the oppressive atmosphere have clearly taken a toll on his nerves. The eerie tune, the whispers, the unexplained movements, and the person-like figure remain mysteries, leaving Omega with lingering questions. Was the encounter a carefully orchestrated prank or a genuine haunting? Omega's experience is a mix of suspense, fear, and curiosity, amplified by the tunnel's eerie history and vast emptiness. Max's reactions add an element of authenticity to the video, as the dog's unease mirrors Omega's growing anxiety. Whether the events were paranormal or human in origin, the experience underscores the power of isolation and fear in shaping our perceptions of the unknown. It truly challenges us to consider what truly lies within the darkness. The video revolves around Sky, an individual who sets out to enjoy a backpacking trip with friends in a nearby woodland. Sky also runs the YouTube channel, Swamp Valley. However, what begins as a seemingly routine outdoor adventure quickly spirals into a harrowing and unsettling encounter. Sky starts the journey with high spirits, prepared to enjoy the serenity and camaraderie that a backpacking trip promises. However, early into the trek, he experiences an inexplicable sense of unease. This feeling, described as something he couldn't shake, sets the tone for what is to come. It is implied that Sky's instincts, often a critical survival mechanism in threatening situations, are alerting him to danger even before it fully manifests. Despite his growing discomfort, Sky continues on his journey. His apprehension intensifies when he realizes he is being followed.
Hey, I don't want to sound like a big pansy.
You do?
This is really freaking me out. Somebody is actually following me. And
if you got your pew-pew, you can go ask him why.
it's freaky, man. What the?
The knowledge that someone is watching his every move unsettles him deeply. This stalker remains a shadowy figure, their motives unclear, which only adds to the tension and fear.
What would you do? Would you confront him?
As Sky progresses deeper into the woods, the persistent presence of the stalker becomes undeniable. Every time he looks back, the man is there, tracking his steps. This realization turns what was supposed to be a pleasant trip into a situation fraught with uncertainty and fear. The experience is unsettling not only because of the physical threat posed by the stalker, but also because of the psychological impact of being hunted in a remote and isolated area.
Hell no.
Sky makes a strategic decision to try and outsmart the stalker. Using his wits, he devises a plan to confuse his pursuer. Sky successfully misleads the stalker, making him believe he has lost him.
He's a pretty shitty stalker if he was only like 30 yards ahead of him and he shook him.
Do I just bloody call this?
This temporary sense of triumph offers a brief respite from the tension.
Temporary.
Rather than fleeing entirely, Sky makes a bold and risky decision. He decides to follow the stalker.
Oh shit.
This shift in dynamics from hunted to hunter demonstrates a mixture of bravery and curiosity, but also signals a crucial turning point in the narrative. His choice to observe the stalker's actions stems from a desire to understand the motives behind the unsettling behavior, but it also exposes him to greater risk. As Sky tails the stalker, the situation takes a more sinister turn.
Ooh. There he is. Get him, Sky.
The stakes are raised significantly as Sky discovers the stalker engaging in alarming behavior.
He walks like a
The
zombie.
culmination of Sky's pursuit occurs in a moment of sheer terror. The stalker reveals his dangerous intentions in a horrifying act. He pours gasoline over Sky and chases him with a flaming stick.
What?
Oh, Jesus! Fucking hell! Oh, fucking hell!
Oh, hell no.
Jesus!
That's why he turned around. Pew pew.
This violent escalation shifts the encounter from eerie to life-threatening, leaving no doubt about the stalker's malevolent motives. The act itself
attempted
is not
murder.
only dangerous but also highly symbolic, representing an unhinged and unpredictable aggression. Sky's initial reaction to the flaming stick and the gasoline is likely one of shock and disbelief.
Wow.
The threat to his life becomes starkly real, forcing him into a desperate fight-or-flight situation.
Can't
The
fight him when
encounter
you're
raises
covered in
numerous
gas.
questions about the stalker's motivations.
Hell
Was
no.
this a planned attack, or did it stem from a chance encounter in the woods? The ambiguity of the stalker's intent, whether it was a prank gone too far or an act of deliberate violence, adds to the horror of the situation. A prank of this nature, involving fire and gasoline, seems almost too extreme
Too
and
much,
dangerous
yeah.
to be dismissed as a joke, leading to the suspicion that the stalker had far darker motives. Sky's initial unease,
He
his
threw it at
fear
him?
during the pursuit, and the sheer terror of the flaming attack would leave a lasting impression on anyone. The trauma of being targeted in such a manner, coupled with the uncertainty surrounding the stalker's motives, creates a chilling narrative. The decision to follow the stalker, while initially appearing courageous, ultimately led to a horrifying escalation. The YouTuber known as the Abandoned Camper shares a suspenseful stealth camping/backpacking experience through this video. Driven by her adventurous spirit and fascination with exploring the unknown, she chooses an unconventional and daring location, the vicinity of an abandoned cemetery. While her initial goal is to document the experience and explore the eerie site, Her plans quickly unravel as unsettling events force her to cut the trip short. The abandoned camper outlines her plan to stealth camp near an old cemetery. Her choice of location is intriguing yet ominous. While cemeteries evoke an innate sense of unease for many, the additional detail of it being partially abandoned heightens the tension. She notes that a portion of the cemetery is still active, used for modern burials, while another part has fallen into disrepair and neglect, giving it a hauntingly deserted vibe. The YouTuber sets up her campsite away from prying eyes, keenly aware of the need for stealth. She begins her exploration during daylight hours, giving her an opportunity to navigate the area and document its eerie ambiance before night falls. Once her campsite is ready, the abandoned camper embarks on her next mission, which is to explore the abandoned section of the cemetery.
Creepy.
Sounds like the birds are starting to hunker down for the night. There's fireflies around already. So, I think that means it's time to explore.
Her curiosity is evident as she investigates the neglected graves and crumbling structures. While the daylight offers some sense of security, she comments on the unsettling atmosphere of the location, which seems to exude a quiet, foreboding energy. As the sun sets and darkness envelops the cemetery, the environment transforms. The combination of shadows, silence, and isolation amplifies the eerie atmosphere. During her exploration, she hears a chilling scream echoing through the cemetery, breaking the silence in a way that feels both unnatural and alarming. The scream could be interpreted as an animal,
Yeah,
a
that's what I
human,
thought it was.
or something unexplained, but it is enough to unnerve her and hint at the presence of others in the area. She begins to wonder whether people frequent the cemetery at night, potentially using the abandoned grounds for activities like partying or pranks.
Probably.
As darkness deepens, the abandoned camper becomes increasingly aware that she is not alone. The chilling scream is followed by indications that a group of people may be deliberately targeting or harassing her. Their presence is unsettling because they do not have headlamps or other visible sources of light, suggesting that they are moving stealthily through the forest.
And because there seems to be still a lot of stuff here. See?
Probably just some drunk teenagers.
I think they know I'm here. That's not good.
Fly in the coop, but I need some more. Your antics make me bored, cause I just came around to...
Oh, I can see them. Maybe they're just walking through. Hopefully.
This behavior raises questions about their intentions, whether they are simply wandering in the area or intentionally trying to intimidate her. She reflects her unease as she struggles to balance her initial goal of documenting the experience with the growing sense of danger. Her decision to return to her campsite is a practical one, seeking the relative safety of her setup. However, the persistent feeling of being watched and the proximity of the mysterious group make it clear that the situation is escalating beyond her control. The abandoned camper lights a fire and begins preparing food, attempting to regain a sense of normalcy. However, the unsettling presence of the group persists. Their behavior becomes more invasive, prompting her to extinguish the fire to avoid drawing attention to her location.
I just had to put out the fire because there are people walking around back here. They don't have headlamps on, but like I said in my last video, I do not like being around people in the middle of the forest, especially when it's dark out. So I might pack up and get out of here.
Probably a wise
The act
idea.
of putting out the fire, a vital source of warmth, light, and comfort, symbolizes her growing vulnerability and the shift in priorities from exploration to survival. Her apprehension about being around unfamiliar people in a secluded forest is a recurring theme. She notes that their movements and lack of visible light make them particularly unnerving. The uncertainty of their intentions, whether they are harmless, mischievous, or genuinely threatening, forces her to reevaluate her plans. The forest, once a place of intrigue and mystery, has become a potential source of danger. Recognizing the risks of staying overnight, the abandoned camper makes the difficult but prudent decision to pack up and leave. Packing quickly and efficiently, she ensures that she leaves no trace of her presence, a core principle of stealth camping. Her decision to prioritize safety is a reminder of the unpredictable nature of such adventures. While the thrill of exploring abandoned locations is part of the appeal, the presence of others with unknown motives shifts the dynamic from exciting to dangerous. The decision to end the trip early highlights the importance of prioritizing personal safety
Probably a
over
good idea.
completing an adventure. It serves as a reminder that even experienced adventurers must recognize when a situation has become too risky. The abandoned camper demonstrates resourcefulness and adaptability as she navigates a situation that becomes increasingly unpredictable. While her initial goal was to document the abandoned cemetery and its surroundings, the unforeseen presence of others forces her to make quick decisions to ensure her safety. This video is described as a deeply unsettling and mysterious account of an alleged encounter in the forest during a backpacking trip. The narrative centers around a group of friends who, during a hike, come across a scene that defies rational explanation. The footage, purportedly found on the dark web, is chilling. The story begins with a group of friends backpacking through a forest, a setting often associated with tranquility and nature, but here transformed into a place of terror. Their journey takes an unexpected turn when they hear an unusual noise from above. Drawn by curiosity and perhaps unease, they look up and are confronted with a scene that is both bizarre and horrifying. Above them, they see a man who appears to be possessed, swinging unnaturally from a tree. His movements are described as eerie and unsettling, implying that he is not in control of his own actions. This alone is enough to disturb the group, but the situation escalates with the introduction of an even more horrifying element, a creature perched above him.
I was going to say,
The
what
creature,
is that?
described as biting into the man's neck, adds a supernatural layer to the encounter. Its actions suggest predatory behavior, and its presence transforms the scene into something beyond the realm of ordinary danger.
Ay, ¿qué le está pasando? Mi Dios, ahí descanso mi alma. Solo él es mi esperanza. Lo está manejando, lo está manejando. Él es mi protector. Y no habré de caer. Dios es mi salvación y gloria. Es la roca que me fortalece.
Está
rezando Junior. Refugio está Dios. Confía siempre en Él, pueblo mío. Abre tu corazón cuando estés ante Él. Dios es nuestro refugio. Amén. Que nos dará libertad, porque por eso, Madre, acudo a ti en tu ayuda para que tu mujer hoy tenga.
Oh. Put the camera down.
Este no es Munra. Este no es Misael. Misa. Es Misa.
The man's apparent possession and the creature's actions create a disturbing dynamic that raises questions about their relationship. Is the creature controlling him? Feeding on him? Or is it a manifestation of something darker and more incomprehensible? The sight of the man slowly descending the tree only deepens the terror. His deliberate movements suggest he may be approaching the hikers, adding a sense of imminent danger. The atmosphere of the encounter grows darker and more oppressive, mirroring the rising fear of the hikers.
Look at that tooth.
One of the friends begins to pray, their voice filled with desperation and pleading. This reaction underscores the raw emotional impact of the situation. The prayer's inclusion in the footage lends a sense of authenticity, as it captures a human response to an event that defies logic and evokes primal fear. The video's authenticity is a central question. The fact that it was allegedly found on the dark web adds an air of mystery and suspicion, as such platforms are known for hosting disturbing and unverified content.
That's weird to be on the dark web and nowhere else.
It is still left to grapple with whether the footage depicts a genuine encounter with the supernatural, a hoax designed to elicit fear, or something in between. Regardless of its origin, the video is undeniably effective in its presentation. The unsettling imagery, the backpackers' raw emotional responses, and the unexplained nature of the events combined to create a powerful and terrifying experience.
What do you think? Real, fake? Man, look at those eyes.
The following footage documents an adventurous backpacking and overnight camping trip to Devil's Lake, an area with a reputation for paranormal activity and breathtaking natural landscapes. The experience unfolds across 2 days, with the narrator navigating dense forests, steep cliffs, and haunted trails. The adventure begins with preparations for the trip. The narrator shops for essential camping gear. After airing out and inspecting their tent, they declare readiness for the journey, with the campsite planned from Thursday to Friday. Upon arriving at Devil's Lake, the narrator describes the eerie beauty of the location, noting its history of Native American habitation and its reputation for paranormal activity. The area was once considered sacred, known as the Holy Land by Native Americans, but later adopted the more ominous name of Devil's Lake. The campground is vast, featuring rocky bluffs, dense forests, and trails with reports of shadow figures and ghostly growls. A chance encounter with a longtime visitor confirms the site's haunted reputation. The visitor shares experiences of shadowy apparitions and strange sounds, heightening the narrator's anticipation and unease.
Never been in this part of the campground before, and some guy commented on my shirt and he asked if I was a ghost hunter. I'm like, so I explained to him that I have a YouTube channel and what I was here for, and as a matter of fact, the guy has been here. He's been coming here for 30 years in this very campground in this area that I'm in, because this place is huge. He said he's had experiences here throughout his whole 30 years, and that's why he comes here. So he actually went and subscribed to my channel as I was talking to him. He was on his phone and he subscribed to me. So thanks, man. I didn't catch your name, but thank you so much. He said there's a lot of shadow figures in the site that I'm at, or in this general area. People have experienced all sorts of things in here. Growls, yes, those could be animals, especially the shadow figures are a thing here, and that's what I'm going to be investigating tonight on site.
The narrator begins their exploration with a hike into the dense forest trails. The area is challenging to navigate, with steep inclines and treacherous rocks.
Doesn't
they
look too
describe
challenging.
The sensation of being watched and the spooky ambiance of the forest, which is amplified as darkness falls. The narrow trails wind through dense vegetation, leading to dramatic bluffs and cliffs. Along the way, the narrator notes the history of the area, including Native American hieroglyphs carved into some rocks. Despite their unease, they remain determined to reach key landmarks, including Balance Rock, a precariously perched boulder known for its geological and spiritual significance. The climb is dangerous, requiring careful footing and focus to avoid injury. As night descends, the atmosphere becomes even more unsettling. The narrator hears unexplained noises, including what sounds like rocks falling and faint whispers.
So over here I heard something. Could have been a rock that fell. What was that? I heard something over here walking on the floor.
Their flashlight occasionally catches what appears to be movement in the shadows, adding to the suspense. At one point, the narrator believes they see glowing eyes reflecting in the darkness, a moment that leaves them visibly shaken. The dense forest plays tricks on their senses, with shifting shadows and eerie silence punctuated by sudden noises. They remain vigilant, conscious of both the paranormal reputation of the area and the potential danger from wildlife like bobcats or cougars. Despite their fear, they continue documenting their experience. After several hours of hiking, the narrator returns to their campsite. Exhausted from the physical exertion and the emotional toll of the eerie hike, they settle into their tent for the night. They set up a night vision camera to capture any potential paranormal activity while they sleep. The campground is quieter now, though distant voices and occasional sounds of nature can still be heard. The next morning, the narrator
Sounds like a
embarks on another
campground.
climb, this time to the famous Balance Rock. The trail is steep and challenging, but the daylight provides a sense of safety and clarity. Standing near Balance Rock, the narrator captures stunning footage of the surrounding landscape. The view includes dramatic cliffs, lush forests, and the serene waters of Devil's Lake. The scene is a stark contrast to the spooky ambiance of the previous night, showcasing the area's natural beauty. They express a mix of relief and accomplishment, grateful to have explored such a unique and challenging location. The trip combined elements of physical endurance, natural wonder, and paranormal intrigue. The final footage of this video comes from Vahid's YouTube channel, Vahid Kulsberg, which mostly focuses on bushcraft. In this particular video, which was posted more than 4 years ago on 5th July 2020, tells a suspenseful and adventurous story of Vahed and his dog Riley, who set out for an overnight trip atop a mountain in Swedish Lapland. What begins as a serene outdoor escapade filled with fishing and camping quickly turns into a tense encounter, testing their survival instincts and resourcefulness. Vahed and Riley, his loyal canine companion, start their journey with enthusiasm and preparedness. Upon reaching their chosen campsite, they settle in and enjoy the peaceful atmosphere. Vahed indulges in fishing, a calming activity that ties him to the natural environment. The act of catching fresh fish and preparing it over a campfire symbolizes the simplicity and self-reliance that define wilderness living. While the initial hours of the trip are serene, the mood shifts when Vahed notices something unusual in the distance. His observations reveal the presence of a bear, a majestic yet formidable creature that embodies both the beauty and danger of the wild. The realization of the bear's proximity is unnerving, transforming the peaceful adventure into a high-stakes situation. Bears in the Swedish Lapland, though generally avoiding human contact, can be unpredictable, especially if they feel threatened or curious. As Vahid continues to observe the bear, it becomes clear that the animal is not merely passing by but is approaching their campsite.
Kom inte hit! Nej! Nej! Nej, kom inte hit!
Oh no.
Nej! Kom inte hit! Kom inte hit! Nej, 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 nej! Nej, nej! Gå bort! Gå bort! Kom inte hit! Kom inte hit! Kom inte hit! Gå bort härifrån! Hör! Hör! Hör!
His repeated phrases convey his rising anxiety and an attempt to take control of the situation. The bear's charge towards the campsite marks the most intense moment of the encounter. A charging bear is a rare and highly dangerous event, as it suggests the animal may feel territorial or perceive Vahed and Riley as a threat. In these moments, survival instincts take over, and the calm of the adventure is replaced by a primal urgency to protect oneself and one's companion. Loud noises and a confident demeanor can signal to the animal that the human is not prey and should not be approached. Simultaneously, Vahed picks up rocks and throws them at the bear. The combination of these actions is enough to halt the bear's charge and make it retreat into the trees. After the bear retreats, Vahed and Riley are left to process the encounter. The danger they faced was very real, and the situation could have ended much worse if not for Vahed's decisive actions. The experience highlights the unpredictable nature of wilderness adventures, where moments of serenity can quickly give way to challenges requiring survival skills and composure. This story serves as a reminder of the duality of nature, while it offers beauty, peace, and a chance to reconnect with the...
How do you think he did with the bear? I think he did great. Remember, like, subscribe, let me know what you want to see.